It's time for ProAm Predictions.
Hello and welcome back to ProAm Predictions. I am Paul O'D representing the amateur side, and as always I am across the table from Ryan the Hulk Spillane representing the professional side. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing fantastic, Paul. We haven't done these one in a while now.
Been a few weeks, been nearly 3 weeks since we've got one done.
Really good cards, like.
That's it. There hasn't been much happened. There was
like last week you had Yoel Romero and Phil Davis, but that was kind of it though. That was kind of the biggest fight. Like you had Salt Rogers on the card as well, but like it wasn't really a huge card.
And I know it's easy to say no, but I did actually okay in my picks in that.
Did you?
It's very easy to say no after the fact,
but no one knew it. Like,
yeah, that's true. But the one thing I will say is that card was stink. Absolute stink. After watching it, that card was very poor. And mostly because Yoel Romero was a huge letdown.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I said this in the podcast talking to Liam last week. Are you interested in seeing that versus Anthony Johnson now?
No, not at all.
I mean,
Anthony Johnson's gone now, isn't he?
Is he?
Just his big thing, his big post being like
illness.
But not COVID.
But we don't know what that is. That could be a short-term thing. It could be a long-term thing.
Well,
we don't know for sure.
It's very scary, like, so it's going to be probably a big one, like.
Hopefully, for his sake and everyone's sake. But
he's out of the heavyweight tournament anyway. So, like, realistically now, this could be the in for Phil Davis now after beating Yoel Romero.
It's Julius Anglicus has got the spot.
Oh, did he? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think they confirmed that he was the alternate.
Oh, lovely.
But I mean, it dampens the light heavyweight bracket even further.
Definitely, yeah.
You do Yoel Romero drop out. In hindsight, that might have been a good thing.
Yeah.
You've Rumble Johnson back out. But I think after Rumble's first performance, we were excited to see the NEMCOB fight.
Yeah, we were.
But leaving Bellator aside, we do have a big UFC card this week. We have UFC 266, 2 title fights. And more importantly than 2 title fights, we have the return of Nick Diaz. 209 is back in the house. And Nick Diaz is the second person ever to get a 5-round non-title, non-main event fight. Second only to his brother Nate Diaz only a few months ago.
Because it's not the co-main event, no, right? It's the one down.
It's not the co-main either.
Let's say.
But it's bananas. These boys just call their shots.
Yeah.
And we've just learned as well that this fight has now been moved from, and only this week, this is huge, it's been moved from 170 pounds to 185 pounds. This is only confirmed today, I believe, officially.
Have they give a reason, or?
From what I'm hearing, there was an issue with Nick Diaz's side. Word went back to the promotion, and Robbie Lawler agreed out of hand quite quickly to take it. But you think about it, fight week, people cutting down to welterweight, I mean, they should only be walking around at 181, 182.
It's a big cut, like, so you look at the difference between middleweight and welterweight. That's a big gap, like. So, like, if you're in that, like, in between kind of area where you're not big enough to be a middleweight, and then you have a big cut to welterweight, which I think Nick kind of falls in that area where he's a big enough guy, like he could fight a middleweight, but he wouldn't be. I don't think he'd be huge up there, like Jimmy.
But he's not fighting a middleweight at middleweight. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But Robbie Lawler was never the biggest welterweight in the world.
Yeah, true.
Like, how does it benefit him to take this at 185 pounds?
I think he's kind of going off the fact that Nick's, what age is Nick at this stage?
Jesus Christ, I don't even know, but
I'd
he's old as shit.
Yeah. Old as shit. He's come back after a 5-year layoff.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, yeah. You're looking at, like, ring rust. You're looking at age. You're looking at, like Robbie loses this fight. Nothing really said about it because, Robbie isn't on the up and up. Do you know?
I'll disagree with you on that, but we will get to that fight.
Okay.
We're going to start with the main event because we do have 2 title fights that neither of us are that excited for. Now, the main event in and of itself, the featherweight title, Volkanovski versus Ortega, it's not a bad fight. I'm actually looking forward to it as a fight. But I was one of the suckers who actually got drawn in to watch this season of Tough 29.
Did you watch the
whole
thing?
Return of the Ultimate Fighter, and it was painful. I went into this not liking Volkanovski, and I had no real reason not to like him. It wasn't his personality.
It's your face. You were like, I don't like him. Yeah.
So I went into it kind of siding with Ortega, and Ortega came across really badly in this. So I'm rooting for neither guy to win. A no contest, and they strip the belt from Volk and they just hand it back to Max. I think everyone wants Max to be the 145-pound champ again. But as a for this fight, look, I mean, it's hard to deny what Volkanovski's done. He's 19-fight win streak. His last 4 wins, 2 against Holloway, 1 against Aldo, 1 against Chad Mendes. You're talking about the elite guys in that division, maybe Chad Mendes going back a bit. Ortega, on the other hand, has just come off the win over Korean Zombie. Very, very impressive fight, very impressive win. But before that was the loss to Holloway. And there was a lot of people, because of how badly he lost that fight, and it was one of those kind of fights that who was Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith, and people for a long time were saying Anthony Smith will never recover. Now we learned last week maybe he can.
No,
but he's put three wins together. We thought it was a career-changing fight, but my point with Ortega is we thought he had one of those. He's come back and win. Is this title fight too soon?
I think but then I also think that like if you gave him Max or something, Max beats him like.
Yeah.
So like this is kind of, I think this is his only shot
because Volk has the belt. You think that it's the right time?
I reckon if he loses, it's kind of him done anyway. Like, and he wins, he'll lose the belt eventually, Jimmy. But he'll have that accolade of being the champion. He was. It's kind of the same situation where I was saying was Bisbin.
Yeah.
When Bisbin won the title, that was just the perfect moment for him. Didn't really.
Rockhold wasn't taking shit seriously and looked past Bisbin.
But Bisbin needed that shot. He was never going to get. If he lost that fight, then it was kind of done.
Yeah.
I feel Ortega wins this fight, and that's a big if. I fully believe it's a big if he wins. He wins, he loses the belt.
Yeah.
But he is champion. He's beaten Volkanovski, who is a good featherweight champion right now.
He's beaten Holloway twice.
Yeah,
the last one you could argue Holloway won. I think a lot of people think that, but
is a very dominant champion right now. He's not a sucker. You're not beating a Luke Rockhold kind of fighter.
Yeah. Look, I'm torn on this one. I don't know who to pick because I dislike both guys passionately. And if I go off just fighting, I think the Volkanovski that fought Holloway and he tried to win rounds as opposed to win the fight, and that worked for him the first time. I think he just got lucky the second time and the judges gave it to him, because I don't think it worked for him the second time. But if I go before the Holloway 2 fights, you look at the Volkanovski that put away Aldo, that beat up Mendes, Elkins, list goes on. That guy looked very dangerous. I think that guy needs to show up against Ortega, because Ortega's smart. He's good enough striking to stand with him, and his submissions are legit. If Volkanovski tries to take him down, I think he'll get guillotined.
So do you believe that Volkanovski got complacent as champion and got kind of hit the plateau, let's say?
I wouldn't say he got complacent, but he went in against Holloway and I feel like he felt like he was outgunned.
Yeah.
And he went, right, I can fight him in a fight and I'm going to lose, or I can try and win this on the judges' scorecards and do my best to just win rounds, which is what he did, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like I'm picking Volkanovski. I think he has more skills than Ortega.
Yeah.
And also it's a situation where I just don't like Ortega. I started watching. I watched one episode of Tough.
Yeah.
And I was like, there was no hope in watching the rest of this because it was absolutely boring as shit. There was no drama, and I only watched it realistically because Craig Jones was in Volkanovski's team.
Yeah.
And it was like, I like Craig Jones. Craig Jones was funny and all that. Like, if they really push Craig here now, like, it'll be very funny. And also there was Colby Thickness as well. He's an IMAF. He was Oceanic champion. I knew him from that, and he was on team as well. So I was like, I know I feel like I'm going to watch it. Like, but fuck me, it was boring.
The whole season was boring.
But even the fighters they had, there was no interest, and there was no like characters.
But see, I think the dynamic has changed on that show, because you go back even 5 years ago, you had 16 people going into the house. 10 of them were legit professional fighters. 6 of them were fucking lunatics that were put in there for a reality TV show. Whereas now, they're putting 16 legit professional fighters that take their career seriously, aren't going to be boozing every night, aren't going to be missing weight by fucking and trapped in a sauna, being held in a sauna by Quinton Rampage Jackson or whatever the fuck is going on. It's more a sporting thing now than it is a reality TV show.
But I feel like they have that, because if you want the sport to be taken seriously, you can't have fucking let me bang bro and that kind of shit, you know? We look like thugs then, Jamie.
If you're going to sell a reality show, you need some Julian Lanes, you need some fucking Chris Liebens and the likes.
When you start talking there, and you were like 10 fighters, 6 dopes, I thought straight away of that heavyweight season where you had Kimbo Slice, you had fucking Roy Nelson on it, you had just Rampage and Quinton.
Matt Mitrione, Brendan Schaub.
Yeah.
I mean, they put some personalities in there. Some of those boys could fight and still have careers.
Roy Nelson was a black belt. Like they were all looking at him. They were all like, I think they had like 2 NFL fellas who'd never fought in their life, and they were looking at Roy Nelson.
Brad Eames and you're going to test me on this now. Fuck, I won't get the second.
Yeah, but they were like, they looked at Roy Nelson. They were like, oh, he's an actual like black belt.
Yeah.
But we're just big fucking meatheads, like.
Yeah. And one of them literally meathead Matt Mitrione.
Yeah.
Back to the Volkanovski fight. You've picked Volkanovski to win.
Yes. I think it'd be a grinder.
Just to be controversial, I am going to go Ortega, because for me it's a complete pick-em, and I think Volkanovski will continue to, as champion, try and hold on to the belt, and I don't think that killer we saw on the way up will be there. I think he'll try and be strategic. And if he goes for a takedown to score points against Ortega, I think Ortega takes his neck. I can see Ortega by submission in this one.
So you're picking submission?
Submission.
Lovely.
Co-main event, we have a fight of some descriptions. I mean, it's a fight because they're both being paid to do it, but it's not a match.
No.
It's a fight. It's a beatdown is what it's going to be. It's Valentina Schevchenko against Lauren Murphy. And Lauren Murphy has probably one of the most unfortunate nicknames in MMA history, because her nickname is Lucky, and she is going to get the worst beating in the history of a title fight, because I don't even see Shevchenko putting her away early. I think it'll be like because Lauren Murphy's tough.
Yeah, no, she is. But
I mean, it's going to be 3rd or 4th round by the referee just going, I'm going to save this girl's life. And like life longevity will be a factor in why this fight has stopped, in my opinion.
Do you think it might be a corner towel throw in kind of situation, like, or?
See, I don't even think, because she built her whole career to get to this point. I don't think the corner will throw in the towel. It's a problem in the sport that corners don't.
Yeah.
I think the referee will stop this. I think it could be a standing TKO or just...
Yeah, like against the fence, like Shevchenko throwing shots, Lauren's up against it. Maybe she falls down concentration when she's swinging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've zero. I like normally like the whole thing about MMA is you want a good like tough fight and you want like some, but like that's scary. Like, you know, you've got an elite athlete going in there against a girl who's a butch kind of girl, like, you know.
But at the end of the day, she's still one of the top in that division somehow. She's got there.
Oh no, absolutely. But then you look at the division as well, and you're just like,
But she's not even close to Shevchenko's levels. They're doing different sports,
which is a problem in that division in its own right.
Yeah,
that no one is close to Shevchenko, really.
I think there are plenty of girls that you could put in there that are going to get beaten, but I don't think they're at genuine risk of getting badly hurt.
Yeah, like this is very scary. I think this could be a headline or Sunday morning, you know, kind of situation, like
beatdown.
Yeah,
I can actually see it being a situation where the referee steps in after maybe the 2nd or 3rd round, goes into the corner and says, if you don't defend yourself real fast, I'm stopping this fight.
Yeah. He'll
give a warning and let them know that he's going to stop the fight, because...
But then this could be a situation where it's kind of like that fella who fought the Deals version of Sugar Sean, that fight, where he's getting beat up, and
Chris
then
Moutinho,
and then you're just, the ref steps in, you're like, oh, why the ref step in at this point, you know, like where you could have stepped in around 1, you know, situation, like that could be a thing, like.
But you're not going to blame the referee.
No, not in this fight, definitely not this fight.
But even in that fight, people were saying he'd only 30 seconds left. I had no issue.
I have no issue either.
The fight could have been stopped 3 minutes before that. The fight could have been stopped halfway through the 2nd round, let's be honest. But
yeah,
it's just one of those situations. Look,
because Lauren Murphy is a tough girl, and she's not gonna. Like, she can take a punch, like, but then it's how much damage can she take?
And let's remember, this is a 5-round fight, not a 3-round fight. Yeah. A 5-round fight. So you're hoping, and this sounds awful, but you're hoping for Lauren Murphy's sake she gets cracked by something and submitted or put away quick.
Shevchenko shoots for a takedown, takes down, submits her, you know, like, Shevchenko tries to show like a bit of other game, or you know, yeah, or maybe like remember where Nunes hit someone, I forget it was. It could have been Megan Anderson, hit her, knocked her over, and then just submitted her on the floor.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or Gunny notorious for a 2-win. Gunny fought the Canadian fella, the Modley fella.
Joban.
Yeah. Fought him. He hit him with a few shots. It could have finished him standing, but
Yeah.
decided to take him down and submit him. And he literally said it post-fight. He was like, I did that because I didn't want to hurt him. You know? I knew he was damaged.
Shevchenko.
Not going to do that. No.
She'll hurt the guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. She'll hurt and she'll enjoy it. But, like, that's what we're hoping for.
Okay, so realistically, Lauren Murphy is going into this fight at 8-1 odds.
Fuck me.
So that's plus 800. Now, I'd have to look it up. I don't know if that would be the biggest underdog ever to win a title fight.
No, definitely not. There's been some title fights there that have been just like...
I'd love to know what Holly Holm was. I can't think. She was one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Matt Serra would have been one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So, but look, I'll look that up, and I might allude to that again on the Sunday podcast. But does she have a hope in hell?
No, not at all.
Like a 1% chance?
No, none.
Not even a 1%?
No. Well, look, it's MMA. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But, like, anything can happen when you have a close enough fight.
Yeah.
Like, when I say anything can happen, like, I kind of more look at heavyweights. Like, when heavyweights is all down to the one punch. Here it's not, because they're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And it's more skilled, you know. There's skill in heavyweights, like, you know, TV's gone.
Oh, it's just, that happened to us on Sunday as well. We thought the whole thing was gone now.
You know, it's, but like, with them, it's more skill based. So I feel like that, I feel she has no hope at all. Just for the year we've had of underdogs, for her to win, it would be like the king of underdogs.
I wouldn't want it to happen to Shevchenko.
No, not at all.
Here's the thing, like, do you know the way there's this new thing where people, I don't touch wood, I don't want anyone to break their leg on Saturday night, but
yeah,
Shevchenko breaks her leg off, Lauren Murphy, something like that.
No.
I honestly think Shevchenko on one leg would still beat her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If the ref let it continue.
Yeah, no, Shevchenko is not. Like, she's not giving up. She'll stand back up, like, you know.
One leg Shevchenko beats Lauren Murphy. So I think we're both picking Shevchenko in that one.
And we're going, what round are we going with?
You see, this is my problem. I think this is going to be horrific. I think it's going to be late third round, early fourth round stoppage by the referee.
I'm going to say 2 just for the sake of the sport.
Second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would hope for that, but I have my fears.
Yeah. Now we get on to the money fight.
The fun stuff. Ooh. So, a rematch, 17 years and 4 months in the making.
Almost as old as me.
Like, literally almost an adult in the making.
Yeah.
So, Robbie Lawler coming off 4 losses in a row.
But then if you look at his 4 losses, and I was chatting to this with Larkin as well, they've all been wrestlers.
I mean, Magny's not technically a wrestler.
I know.
And RDA stands and bangs as well.
Yeah, but they've been wrestling losses, you know, let's say. This is his first kind of real striker.
Yeah.
And like raw striker, like Diaz striker at this, like Dick Diaz throwing your slaps. He's doing his fun shit and all that, like. So I feel like it's the best matchup for Lawler right now, I feel. But then again, there's so many factors in this fight. There's Diaz been gone for so long.
Over 6 years, yeah.
We were talking about it there, he's old as shit.
As shit.
Yeah.
He was old before his last fight, six and a bit years ago.
The whole thing now about the weight being put up now.
Yeah.
But then you also have Lawler, who hasn't won in a while.
Yup. But he's been relatively active over the last couple of years.
And then there's the whole thing about now is how like that, like you always think that these old school dogs are safe, but they're not. Like Dana will cut them. Dana's very ruthless these days. So that's playing in Lawler's mind, being like, if I lose 5 fights in a row, I'm getting cut.
Yeah.
So
and probably for his own interest.
Yeah. So like he's thinking this is my biggest fight. If I beat Diaz, my fame goes back up.
Yeah.
Back to Joe, like
because it's Diaz.
Height. Yeah. To his height, you know, where he was, Joe.
And this, even though it's the third fight down.
Oh, everyone's here for this fight. No, realistically.
100%. It's the biggest draw on this card.
Yeah.
And we know the Diaz brothers do bring numbers. There's no disputing it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Robbie Lawler, for a long time up until quite recently, was I wouldn't say he was a big draw, but he was a fighter fans got excited about.
Yeah.
They'd love to see him fight
Especially
if he was on a card.
especially old school fighters, because they remember all those fights, him covered in blood.
Wars with Condit, McDonald, going back before that. Like, I mean, yeah.
Old school UFC. So I feel like that would play, like the nostalgia would play into it as well.
So 17 years removed from a fight. Obviously, the fight went the way it went. Lawler was doing well, and Diaz got a second round TKO against Lawler. Do you think that plays a factor in any way, shape, or form this far removed from the first fight?
No. The CT those lads both have, they can't remember that fight.
The CTE that Robbie Lawler has and the amount of weed that Nick Diaz has smoked.
They cannot remember that fight at all.
But are you expecting, like, realistically, are you expecting a phenomenal fight out of these two in the current state?
I think this can be a fight of the year.
Oh,
I think this can be not for skill base, but absolute just ruthlessness out of two of them. I feel like they go in there and just start swinging, or Diaz could just do random shit where he just like lies on the floor, slaps him, talks to someone over there. Do you know, that kind of shit?
And pissing Robbie Lawler off would be
yeah. And then Robbie gets angry and starts swinging, and then you have the danger factor of, you know, if Diaz gets, well, you can't knock out Diaz really, because you could throw a kitchen sink at those boys and they're not going out cold.
Yeah.
But I feel like that you could, like, you know, I'm really excited for this fight, because I feel it could be a great fight. But then it could also show up and we could see two old fighters like we were talking there about Yo Romero and Phil Davis. It could be at that where it's just boring.
Yeah.
And it's two fighters who are scared, and they're both like, because like Diaz has been off for a while and he looks in good condition, so maybe he got a bit smart in that time.
The one thing I will say, that the Davis Romero fight, it was boring because neither guy wanted to throw, and Davis just went for the takedowns and got them easily and lay on top when he got them. When you look at Diaz and Lawler, neither of those guys are going shooting for any takedowns. It's just not happening.
But say then, you don't know, because Diaz has been gone for so long.
You telling me Nick Diaz is going to shoot a takedown on Robbie
I'm not,
Lawler?
but we don't know. Do you get me? We don't know what happened.
I fucking have a fair idea.
I know. That has been smoking weed like and running marathons and shit like. But like, that man could have went off and just went to Dagestan and did wrestling. Do you know, it's not going to happen. But
I'm calling suspect on your whole theory.
I know. I'm calling sus on as well. Like, but like, it's been so long that his style could have changed. You know, like he's been out for so long that maybe he wants takedown to try on a submission or something. You know, maybe he goes in there and shoots a flying triangle. You know, it's Diaz.
I'll put it this way: if I were to see either try and go for a takedown based on Robbie Lawler's last 4 fights, he might try for a takedown because he might go, listen, obviously the route to victory is wrestling.
But then we look at Diaz and we're like, he's not looking at a route to victory.
Oh, do you really want to go into Nick Diaz's guard? The Diaz brothers are famous for their guard game. Yeah. So I can see this whole fight playing out in the feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's whether we get the scrap that we all want,
or a boring standoffish,
or the two boys kind of hitting each other but playing possum and throwing up gang signs and all this carry on the side. And it could play out a thing of nothing, or it could be an epic war. I would never go so far as to say fight of the year. I think that's outrageous.
Yeah, look.
But I think it could be one of the most entertaining fights of the year very easily.
Yeah. It's the nostalgia factor for me, like thinking like that it could be an old school UFC fight, but it's not. They're old. Everyone ages. Time's a bitch, like, you know. So
they're both 40 plus, I think. I believe they're both 40 plus. If not, they're both 38, 39.
Yeah,
I'd have to look up their ages.
Time's an old bitch, like, so like they're not the old school fighters there, like.
Yeah, and we can actually, that's the beauty of the internet. So Robbie Lawler is 39.
Fuck me.
But 100% turning 40
so like,
in the very near future. And 38, he's only fucking 38.
Yeah.
I feel like Nick Diaz has been alive forever.
No, but he's older than that because of the shots and the weed that he smoked. He's definitely older. Like, if you look at his last fight, it was George St. Pierre, like.
Well, after this, before the Silva fight, and look at the ones before that: Carlos Condit, BJ Penn,
Paul Daly,
Cyborg, Paul Daly,
Paul Daly in the Strike Force, like fuck me,
Frank Shamrock. He fought Frank Shamrock. He's been fighting forever. It's fucking insane. Yeah, look. I mean, there isn't
Diego
enough.
Sanchez.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck me.
there isn't enough
The Robbie Lawler fight there as well.
things you could say about both guys. They're both just, it's pure entertainment.
But then, so go on to Robbie Lawler there. Scroll
Yeah.
down, go to Robbie Lawler.
Ruthless. I mean, the
Even the
picture
photo,
alone
yeah.
says it. Yeah, yeah.
So look, Neil Magny, Colby, Ben Askren, RDA.
And I'll tell you what, considering we're saying he's got such a bad record, 3 decisions and a bullshit submission loss. They never tapped it.
Just going to say that Bulldog choke was absolutely bullshit.
Yeah.
And you could see he was kind of like...
He was going to win that fight.
Yeah, yeah. So then, like, if he won that fight, would he have beaten Colby then? Do you know, probably not.
Yeah.
Then you look at then a win against Cerrone, which is, you know, it's Cerrone. Cerrone's honour is off. It's that. Tyrone Woodley, Curtis Condit, you know.
But the Woodley one was when he lost the belt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is prime Robbie Lawler.
But
He gets clipped against Woodley, and
But
it's
then
all gone to shit
Then
since
you're looking at prime Robbie Lawler's 2016. That's 5 years ago.
And Nick Diaz hasn't been around in 6 years.
Yeah.
So, the big question, I'm going to put you on the spot first. Who'd you have in this one?
I'm gonna go absolutely outrageous here, just to be different, and say Robbie Lawler by decision.
Oh, we're on the same page.
Oh, what?
I have Robbie Lawler as well. It's against my better judgment. I absolutely love Nick Diaz.
All right, I'm changed then. Back up there now. I'm going Diaz by TKO then.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. All right, because I thought I was being all different there, but you fucking...
No, my whole thing is here, I think activity is huge. And regardless of the fact that he's been losing fights, he's been in those fights for the most part. I think if you're out of the octagon for 6.5 years, you cannot, absolutely no way can you expect to go in and fight a guy that's been fighting top 10 fighters.
Yeah.
Winning or losing.
Still fighting them.
He's been competing against top 10 fighters fairly regularly over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's insane to believe you can come back after 6.5 years and compete against that.
But then it's just the Diaz, they're different.
I was going to say, if someone can do it, it's them.
Yeah, they're built different.
My head rules over my gut here, and I have to go with activity. I have to go with Robbie Lawler. So
okay.
But I don't. Frankly, I don't give a fuck who wins. I just want to see the fight that we're all hoping to get.
Yeah.
185, 170. I don't care if they show up fat as shit and fight at 210 pounds. I just want a scrap, an absolute scrap from first belt to fifth belt.
Yeah.
No knockouts.
Are we doing the big boys next?
Yes, heavyweights in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And these are some big boys.
Yeah, but
So you've Curtis Blades and Jairzinho Rosenstruck. And I feel like these two guys are the also-rans of the heavyweight division right now. Both guys only have a couple of losses on their record. Rosenstruck has 2, Blades has 3. But they've both lost to the elite in this division.
the Lewises.
We're
and
talking the
Ngannous.
Gans, the Lewises,
Cyril again.
Ngannous, and neither of them have fought Stipe, but I imagine Stipe beats both as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those situations where both guys are probably never going to be champ. And I know that's a bold thing to say, especially when you have Curtis Blades' style of wrestling. You could argue he could beat anyone on his day. But we've seen what Lewis did to him. We've seen what Ngannou did to him. He freezes against the big punchers. My thing here is Jairzinho Rosenstruck is a big puncher. A huge puncher. He has decent takedown defense, 80%. But he freezes in the big fight. So for me in this one, it's who can stay composed the longest. I think if Curtis Blades comes out and just ragdolls him and tries to do his usual takedown after takedown after takedown, and hopefully he's learned how to keep them down for his sake, because every time Jairzinho gets back to his feet, he's a legit knockout threat.
Yeah.
I can see it going Jairzinho's way just purely because we've seen what's happened to Blades every time he's fought one of those huge punching guys. So I would lean towards Rosenstruck, but I think this is a pick 'em.
Yeah, if you look at like styles, because styles make fights, the wrestler wins, you know. If you wrestler over striker, wrestler always wins. But then,
Yeah.
let's say 80, it's 8 or 10 times.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah. But then you look at the heavyweights and it's different.
Yeah.
Because all they need to do is stand back and swing.
Yeah.
You saw it against Lewis, literally, Blades literally was shooting for a takedown, and all Lewis was doing was standing back and waiting for that big shot.
And Ngannou just ran at the fucker.
Yeah. But then you look at Ngannou and Blades, or Ngannou and Lewis, and they're not Rosenstruck, Jimmy. Rosenstruck isn't at the caliber.
No.
Doesn't have that power the two of the lads have.
No, I'll give you that. Yeah.
He has heavyweight power, but not that power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em. I'm going to go Blades just because I like him. And I like the style. I like stylist fights. Hopefully, you can take it down. You keep him on the floor. But yeah, definitely going to go Blades, and it's going to go with. I want to say he stops him, just because heavyweights. And once heavyweights get tired, it's stoppage. So I'm going to say stoppage. I'm going to say TKO. I'm going to say it's going to be like ground and pound on the floor kind of finish. Like,
so I think over 3 rounds, it like. You'd have to logically side with Blades, but something in my head says the fact that he's been sparked twice now, and only in his last fight to Lewis.
But then Rosenstruck's been the same.
Yeah,
well, not against Cyril, but like
he's Gan and Ngannou as well.
Yeah.
And he got touched up by Ngannou, didn't get finished, but he got just outclassed.
Yeah, but like it's Ngannou.
Yeah, and Ngannou, I mean, what was it, 22 seconds? And firecrackered him from across the cage. Yeah, look, so they've both tasted that power, but I think Rosenstruck will be a little bit more confident coming into this, being that he's coming off a victory.
Yeah, true.
The first fight on the main card, we have Jessica Andrade versus Cynthia Cavillo, and it's not often I say this, but I hate the matchmaking in this fight.
Again, I have absolutely zero interest in this fight, to be honest.
Well, I have interest in it in the sense that the strawweight division needs new people at the top. And I think if Cynthia Cavillo wins, she gets there. But it's a big fight.
But does she beat Shivchenko? No.
That's the problem. Yeah. And I think this is a bad matchup for that reason. If we look at Jessica Andrade over her last few fights, she's lost to Shevchenko, obviously, for the title. She had the win over 2K again before that. And then before that, she lost to Nama Yunus and Zhang back to back.
Yeah.
But this was a girl that beat Nama Yunus, beat Carolina, beat Gedalia. List goes on and on. She beat a lot of the top girls in that division and still possesses massive threat to all those top girls in that division. She's one of the girls that's right there. Cavillo needs to fight someone to get up there. I get that. But Cavillo, she hasn't beaten anyone in a sense that's a real threat, a real big name. And she's lost to Chukagi in her last one. Why is she getting another huge opponent right now coming off a loss? I think you've taken that loss to Chukagi. I think you've hit your benchmark. Work back down the division. She's gone above Chukagi again.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand the matchmaker. I just think it's a strange one how you can lose to Chukagi and now you're fighting Andrade who just lost for the title.
The women's flyweight division is all over the gap.
Yeah, sorry, I said strawweight. They're both moving up to flyweight.
Yeah, but it's a big fight for Cavillo because if she wins this, then it's kind of like her big stepping stone, let's say.
But the problem is, if she wins this, she's fighting Shevchenko.
Does she?
But where else do you go? If she beats Andrade, who just fought for the belt, Shevchenko's crying out for contenders because there's nobody left in that division.
What's the rankings like?
I think Andrade is ranked at number 3 or 4.
Yeah. So to them be Lauren. Yeah.
I mean, it's bananas. I look up the rankings there, but we're talking about stepping in against number 4 or 5 in the world, losing, and fighting number 2 in the world, number 1 or 2 in the world after it. To me, it makes no sense. Maybe it makes sense to some people. But
oh no, number 2 is.
So yes, Chukagi. You lose to number 2 in the world. Your next fight, you fight number 1 in the world.
So how about this matchmaking? So let's say Cynthia wins.
Yeah.
Have her fight either Jennifer Maya or Chukagi.
Again, but and that makes sense.
Give her one more fight. Yeah.
But they're not going to do that.
No,
if she beats number 1, they're not going to do that. Especially when Shevchenko wants to be active, wants to fight, but there's nobody to fight.
Yeah.
For me, it's bananas. I agree with you in the sense I think Andrade is probably going to edge out this one. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying that as well. I think Andrade edges this one. I think Cavillo has all the skills to get to that level, but she needs more fights. She needs more experience. She needs to put the whole game together because a lot of it is there, but it's not polished yet.
Yeah.
Like massive amount of skill, but not able to transition well, not able to put it together, not able to mix it up. For me, she's not the complete package just yet. And I think Jessica Andrade is. She's a former world champion. I think she takes this one, and probably by decision.
I'm gonna say Cynthia wins just because she's a young dog.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say a young dog.
You
wins
always
it.
root for the young dog, to be
I
fair.
am, because I am the young dog here, Paul. Your age is showing.
I was just gonna say, was that a dig at my age, or you just giving yourself a little nod? Give myself an old pat in the back. Yeah, it was definitely a dig at me. Before we go, we are going to do our bets of the week. I've got a very interesting one for you this week.
Got a very interesting one as well.
I'll go first. I normally make you go first. So my one has nothing to do with the main card.
All right.
Because I think there are 5 pick'ems.
Yeah.
The only one I'm obviously confident about is Shevchenko, but
Absolutely.
at 1 to 18, why fucking bother?
I know.
So mine is I have Merab Dvalishvili. I have Dan Hooker.
Oh, fuck me. Dan Hooker's in this card.
I have Taylor Santos.
Oh, fucking Roxanne's in this card as well. Jesus Christ, great card.
I
And
have
Ferret on the card as well.
Manon Fiorot and Uros Medic in a five fight accumulator just to win. But I think it's almost 7-1, and I think it's an absolute cert.
The undercard for this is actually fucking good.
It's a phenomenal card.
Christakis and Shamil. Fuck me.
Yup. It's a serious card. Dan Hooker, Nasrat, Merab, Marlon Moraes. I mean, these are... And, like, people don't know about Uros Medic. This might be his coming out party because he's only fought in a couple of cards so far. He came from Dana White's Contender Series. This boy cracks hard. He cracks like a heavyweight. He fights a featherweight. The dude is, like, I mean, he has hands of stone. He's put a couple of people to sleep. And Jalen Turner, another guy coming in from Dana White Contender Series, that's a fun fight. But I reckon Uros Medic gets it done, puts him to sleep. And like, I mean, Manon Fiore against Moira Bueno Silva, phenomenal fight as well.
I want to say no, Carl Robinson as well from somewhere.
Carl Robinson, another Dana White Contender Series guy.
It.
And he's taken on a huge prospect, Maximov, who's an undefeated prospect.
So, my bet of the week.
Go for it.
Lauren Murphy by TKO.
Lauren Murphy is going into this fight at 8-1 odds.
Fuck me.
So that's plus 800. Does she have a hope in hell?
No, not at all.
Like a 1% chance?
No, none. Get me the odds for that. If
Are you taking the piss now?
If Laura Murphy gets a TKO victory, I reckon I just win the odds. I reckon you can't catch up to me then, like.
But you do realise I'm going to have to look for a new professional to take on next week if this is actually your bet of the week.
100%.
It can't be your bet of the week.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Give me the odds for that now.
I'm looking them up, but I mean, this is absolutely
If Laura Murphy
ludicrous.
wins by TKO, the odds are outrageous, and I win. I reckon I win if you put yours and Brian Moore's and yours and Dave's bets all together. I reckon I still win with that one bet.
Lauren Murphy by TKO is 10-1 only.
Really?
Yeah.
Still great odds though.
I mean, please pick any other bet.
No.
So you're going Laura Murphy by KO.
Okay. So Laura Murphy by TKO is my bet of the week. My other one, I'm gonna go main card just to spice it up. I'm gonna go an accumulator of Volkanovski, Shevchenko, Diaz, Blades, and Cavillo.
All 5.
Yeah. Main card, boom. So my pick's just in a bet. Which
Nice.
that's normally what I do for most cards. I just do a accumulator because it's better that way.
No problem at all.
But yeah, no, my real bet, and I want to have
Lauren Murphy.
when you're doing.
I'll put it up.
Yeah, Lauren Murphy by TKO.
Questionable.
Yeah.
Absolutely very questionable. There might be a meme come up after that one when I post it
Absolutely.
up. So where can we find you on socials before we go?
Ryan Spillane MMA on Twitter and Instagram, and Ryan the Hulk Spillane on Facebook.
And be sure, as always, follow us on Facebook at the MMA Opinion, and go over to YouTube and subscribe to Guts and Glory MMA. Hit that like button and comment underneath with your picks. Thank you very much.